Good morning, everyone. Lake Highland Prep welcomes you to the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, presented by Advent Health, St. Germain Chiropractic, and Burn Fat Orlando. The event that puts the reputation of the Orlando Metro Conference on the line against some of the best programs in the greater Central Florida area. It's 26 games of back-to-back-to-back basketball action, and this is game number 1. Please welcome our guests wearing the gray jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard from Mount Dora Christian Academy. They are the Bulldogs. And wearing the white jerseys, home on the scoreboard from Horizon High School. Please welcome the Hawks. Let's meet the teams, beginning with our guests from Mount Dora. And starting at point guard with 6-foot senior, number 1, Javi Roll. At forward, 6'5" junior, number 4, Ethan Priest. At guard, 6'3" senior, number 15, Dylan Mankauskas. At guard, 6'3" junior, number 22, Luke Denninger. And finally, for the Bulldogs, at guard, 6'4" senior, number 23, Adam Bracey. And the head coach of the Bulldogs in his 23rd year at Mount Dora Christian, Mr. Stephen Hayes. And now let's meet the Horizon Hawks. Starting at guard with 5'7" senior, number 1, Adonis Christo. At shooting guard, 6'1", sophomore, number 2, Bradley Webb. At small forward, junior, number 11, Shane Jackman. At guard, 5'10", freshman, number 14, Diego Rojas. And finally for the Hawks at small forward, junior, number 21, Zach Hawk. The head coach of the Hawks in his first year at Horizon, Tim Gittens. The officials for this morning's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. For those of you here in the arena, we'd like to remind you that we are live streaming all of the games at the 13th Annual Metro vs. Florida Challenge. And if you have friends and family back home, you can send them to metrovsfl.com or send them to the Metro VSFL channel on the YouTube app on their favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device. And we'd like to extend a warm welcome to those of you who have done just that. My name is Mark Barchi. I'm the media director for the Metro vs. Florida Challenge. And I am joined today by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through this first of 22 games of basketball action. And Neil, some of our viewers may be wondering, this is an Apopka High School event. So why are we now at 2 sites? Why expand to a second site, and specifically, why Lake Highland Prep? And that all goes back to the namesake of the tournament, Mr. Earl Graham.
Yes, Mark. And so we are underway. Of course, go ahead and give you the premise here real quick. There are 22 high schools in Orange County, public high schools in Orange County, and they are members of the Metro Conference. Unlike college, you don't get recruited, you don't get an invitation once you open. As we get the long-range tray attempt, no dice, we'll go back the other way. So you're automatically a member of the Metro Conference as soon as you open your school. And in each game, as we get a whistle, that's 23, Adam Bracey with the charge. Drawing the charge.
Foul is called against number 11, Shane Jackman, his first and the team's first.
And so in every game you have a member of the Metro Conference, again 22 members. They take on a non-member, aka the Florida contingency, and then at the end of this event, 26 games, we add up which side wins most. Of course, that's it's based on the Atlantic Coast Conference versus Big Ten Challenge as 1-0 lead for MDCA. And of course, That is a nice side effect, to be quite honest. The bigger thing is that Coach Williams, the director, he puts together very competitive schools. It's an opportunity to get that first measurement to see where your school, where your team is, and in particular for teams with aspirations of long runs into the postseason. So, Mark, again, we opened up this broadcast talking about Earl Graham, and so go ahead and explain his connection.
Yeah, so Earl Graham, of course, most recently was well known as we get a basket by Ethan Priest, putting up 2 for the Bulldogs, and we'll pause here for a timeout. 30-second timeout is requested by the Hawks.
So it's 5-0 lead for MDCA. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
So as we alluded to a few moments ago, this tournament now bears the name of Earl Graham, who, of course, was most recently the assistant coach of basketball at Apopka High School, where he served for many years. He unfortunately passed away during the COVID pandemic and leaving behind a legacy of nearly 50 years of connection to high school athletics. And prior to his time at Apopka, he spent some time here at Lake Highland Prep. This is the other school where he spent most of his time besides following Scott Williams around. And so he has a connection to this school as we get a basket by Luke Denninger.
A 5-0 lead now for MDCA, 2 of 2 from the field.
And so now, again, since he passed, Coach Williams obviously was deeply affected by that and hugely grateful for all that he had done over the 50-plus years of his career for young men, and therefore this event now bears his name. This is now, I believe, the third event that has had that designation, and now the second event where we have had 2 sites, including here at Lake Highland Prep. Of course, tomorrow's games, as well as Fridays and Saturdays, will be at Apopka, as is tradition. And now we're going to get a foul.
First
foul is called against number 23, Adam Bracey, his first, and the team's first.
First turnover of the game. 5:40 first quarter, 5-0 lead for Mount Dora Christian. Opportunity for Horizon to get on the board, come to that lead. Nice pass inside. Better defense, though. Give MDCA credit. They had great recovery defense. Also want to point out, Mark, since we were talking about Coach Graham, of course, I did not play for him, but I did get to know him somewhat over the course of his time. Not only at Apopka, but he did work at Wekiva. For those of you new, as we get the steal and the foul, the drive, that was Roll sticking his hand in there, grabbing the loose ball and drawing the foul.
Foul is called against number 2, Bradley Webb. That's his first personal foul, the team's second, and that will send Javi Roll to the line, shooting 2.
So before, as Mark mentioned, of course, Coach Graham's last stop was with Coach Williams at Apopka. He was there for approximately, I think it was 7 years, 8 years. Before that, he actually worked with Coach Williams at Wekiva, which the program was opened up by Scott Williams. So I got to know him between those 2 schools. Of course, if you're new to the broadcast, I do work for the Apopka Chief. I'm their sports reporter. I cover both schools. As the score now 6-0. 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And I got to know Coach Graham somewhat. Would have liked to have gotten to spend more time with him. Unfortunately, the opportunity just did not present itself. But I would tell you, for my relationship, Coach Graham was the kind of guy who, if you had to go on a road trip, you very much like to go on that trip with him. He was very fallible, always had some good insight, but just a guy who you felt like you could get to know on a personal level, tell him about what was going on in your life. As we get the
jump shot by Adonis Christo.
So 6-2 lead for MDCA, 4.5 first quarter. The drive by Roll. back out to the top, roll, hitting that left side, no dice, double team. They'll take it back out to Bracey, who resets the offense. 6-2 lead for MDCA, the first of 26 games. The 2023 Metro versus Florida Challenge. MDCA, the Florida contingency, that's no dice. Roll taking the shot. And back the other way we come. Horizon, opportunity to get successive baskets as we drop under 4 minutes first quarter. That's not going to happen, though. Good defense. Someone got that hand in. Quickly up the court. MDCA at the other end. Roll launches, rips in and out. Skying for the rebound. The Wilt. So another opportunity for MDCA to cut into that lead. Top of the key. That's Crystal, one-on-one. And that was DeWalt. Looked like he decided what to do with the ball before he actually got it.
Checking into the game for Mount Dora, number 5, Landon Marenko.
So Horizon.
And for the Hawks, Jacob DeWilt.
One of the 2 newest schools in the Metro Conference, only 3 years old. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, Tom Giddens is in his first year at the helm. So they've yet to win a game in this event. And as a matter of fact, you go back 2 years ago, their very first game was the first game of the MVFC. That clanks off the rim. That was Priest, gets his own rebound. The second attempt, no dice. That was the first offensive rebound of the game, by the way. And Horizon looking to cut into that lead yet again. Nobody scored for about 2:15 now, as Horizon commits its 4th turnover.
Checking into the game for MDCA, number 24, Xavier Dalton.
Of course, MDCA, private school. They're known, expectations, always to make a long run into the postseason. Last year, 22-7 regional semifinalists. That's the Sweet 16. At the other end, the launch, too short. Skying for the rebound. Bracey, contact, and a charge.
No, that was travel violation.
Of travel, excuse me. Either way, it is a turnover.
Checking into the game for the Hawks, number 15, Jordan Damija.
And MDCA, a 4-4 record in this event. Steve Hayes, their coach. 23 years at the helm for Coach Hayes. As now we also get a substitution. That'll be Bradley Webb coming in. And he inbounds the ball. Up the court. Runs into trouble. That was Rojas, and now he loses the ball. Back the other way. Quick transition. Horizon gets a hand in there. Ball bounces back to MDCA, and now they throw it out. So, no, actually it is going to stay with MDCA, so somebody got their hands on that. Last touched by Horizon. 2:15, first quarter. 6-2 score for MDCA. They have led from the beginning. We haven't had a score in about 3 minutes. So thank you for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. The slide, the drive, and give the deuce to Diaz.
Basket by Javi Roll.
Roll, as we drop under 2 minutes. Well, 8-2 lead now as Horizon comes back the other way. Got 6 games today from Lake Highland Prep. The swing through the middle, the 6-foot bunny, no dice. And back the other way. MDCA looking to up that lead. The soft touch, no dice. Doing Windex work is Dalton, and he gets pounded on the way up. 128.
Fouls called against Hawks number 12, Jacob DeWilt. That's his first personal foul, the team's second, and it sends the Bulldogs to the line. Xavier Dalton shooting 2.
Dalton, the 6'4" senior power forward. And MDCA will have 6. This will be their 6th free throw attempt in the first quarter already. And also, if you're new to Florida High School, or you might not know that there was a change. The FHSAA changing what was automatic free throws after 7 fouls per half. It's now 5 per quarter, and no longer 1-on-1s. They're now 2 automatic. As Dalton sinks one of the 2, 9-2 lead, 1:20 first quarter. Top of the key now, coming out that defense. MDCA ripping it loose, and still hot potato, finally picked up by MDCA. That was Roll, who seems to have a nose for that ball. He's always where it was, who picked up the loose ball at the free throw line, and then the foul committed by Marquise Pierre.
Foul's called against number 20, Marquise Pierre. That's his first personal foul, the team's third.
So as you just heard Mark Barchi say, he's my on-air partner as well as the public address announcer. 3 fouls for Horizon, representing the Metro Conference. MDCA back to work, can't get the board to work. And ripping that rebound down is Webb. And again, MDCA pressure all over, hot potato. Looks like a magic trick of some sort there. The ball was rolling around the body of Damija, and at the other end, the quick pass creates the foul.
Held ball.
Oh no, it's a
possession
held ball.
Hawks.
Held ball. Possession will remain with the Hawks. 37.1 seconds remaining. So our next game, that'll pit Lake Nona High School representing the Metro Conference against Vieira. As Horizon inbounds the ball from the top of the key, about 5 feet back, and give the swish.
3 for Bradley Webb.
Back the other way, 9-5, short. MDCA trying to answer, and they get the rebound. And I believe there's also a foul on that rebound. Yes.
Foul's called against Hawks, number 10, Reese Allen McAlpin. His first personal foul. The team's 5th penalty situation. At the line, shooting 2, number 0, Hayden Tombros.
So 9 free throw attempts now when this pair is completed. And as I just mentioned, it's no longer 7 fouls per half. It's now 5 fouls per quarter, and you get to go to the free throw line. It's also 2 free throw attempts instead of 1-on-1, 1-and-1. And so Tambros drops both free throws. 11-5 lead, under 10 seconds, and another turnover for Horizon. There's 6 of this quarter. 8.8 seconds, MDCA opportunity to get that lead up to 8 or even 9. Of course, most importantly, opportunity to close out the first quarter with momentum.
Charge is called against Hawks number 1, Adonis Christo. That's his first. Charge taken by Xavier Dalton. No bonus shots for team control fouls, but it does turn the ball over to the Bulldogs. 6 seconds to go, and the Bulldogs look like they'll get the last word of the period, but it's wide left on the shot there from Javi Roll, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. Not a high-scoring ball game, but a close one. It's a 2-possession game so far. Mount Dora Christian leading the Hawks 11-5 at the end of 8 minutes here in Game 1 of the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, presented by St. Germain Chiropractic in Burnfat, Orlando, as well as Advent Health. Burnfat Orlando invites you to step on the scale with their money-back guarantee. If you don't lose weight within the first 10 days, they'll refund your money. Give them a call at 855-889-THIM. That's 855-889-THIN to get the tools and guidance you need to achieve better health and your weight loss goals with an inviting atmosphere, friendly staff, and programs that will change your life. St. Germain Chiropractic Clinic offers the best non-invasive healthcare services in the Central Florida and Orlando area. With most insurance accepted, they can treat back and neck pain, headaches, auto accidents, slip and fall, and musculoskeletal conditions. When in pain, call St. Germain. And Advent Health reminds you that our 8 Central Florida hospitals have been named as the best in the Orlando area for 13 years in a row. At Advent Health, we care for your mind, body, and spirit while you get back to doing what you love with those you love. Visit www.besthospitalinorlando.com to get started on your journey to wellness.
Second period, we good?
And back to live action we go. An 11-5 lead for MDCA, representing the Florida contingency. Still possession. Stop using that backboard.
Dylan Mankowskis opens up second quarter scoring for the Bulldogs.
So that was a very physical 2 points. 13-5 lead. MDCA has led throughout. This is their largest lead, tied for their largest. Off the rim, that was McAlpin. Back the other way, MDCA choosing its spots to run. Too hard off the backboard, and possession goes to Horizon.
So, Neil, obviously we've got a lot of basketball left to play here, but at least from the first 8 minutes, Metro Conference having a little bit of rough start to the 2023 installment. If you have not had a chance to do so, we invite you to go to metrovsfl.com. We have the program for our event, which includes some history about the tournament, as well as all of the team rosters and previews. Of course, we have the history in there as well. And right now, Neil, the Metro Conference is on a little bit of a skid. The last 3 events, of course, 2020 was canceled, but 19, 21, and 22 all won by the Florida teams. 14-9 in 2019, 13-10 in 2021, and 15-13 last year. So the Metro Conference looking to bounce back. As it stands now, they still lead the overall 13-year series. 7 events won by the Metro Conference, 5 events by the Florida teams, or if you look at it by games, the Metro Conference leads the lifetime of the event 134-112. Although if you can just imagine that, 134-112, that means we've had 246 games so far in the lifetime of the event, and this is game 247. So we get a jumper from number 15, Dylan Mankowskis.
Yeah, Mark. So as you mentioned, the Florida contingency cutting into that lead. Back at the other end, that's Williams. Gets his own rebound and scores, puts in the deuce. So that'll cut the lead to 15-7 at the other end. MDCA, now they have found their running game for the last 3-4 minutes. At the other end, no dice, 2 attempts. And another rebound for MDCA. Through the lane, Roll gets the roll. And a 17-7 lead now. So also want to point out, Mark, you were talking about the overall score. Metro Conference versus the Florida contingency. As the launch, no dice, long rebound, grabbed by McCormick, and up the other way we go. When this event first started, there were, I believe, was it 18 games that first year, 19 games? And it was a 2-day event on Saturday and Sunday.
Basket by Dylan Mankowskis for the Bulldogs. And yes, Neil, I remember back when we used to do this just as a 2-day event. It was just the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we had 10 games per day to make it 20 games overall. Let me tell you, even though we do more games now than we did before, keeping it to 6 to 7 games per day certainly helps with the stamina of the score table staff, that is for sure. Now we'll get a couple of substitutions. We're going to get a little bit of a fire drill from the Hawks here as they send in the cavalry. This is going to be Chaz Cowens, Zach Hawk, and Diego Rojas coming in for Horizon. Worth noting that Zach Hawk was the leading scorer and rebounder for the Hawks last year. 6 players overall returning from last year's team that really struggled from inexperience. They had 0 seniors on the Hawks team last year. And the other thing that's interesting about this particular matchup is that you have the #1 longest tenured head coach at the same school, Stephen Hayes, across all 40-some-odd teams that are participating in this event at 23 years. He has more head coach experience at the same school consecutively than anyone else, any other team in this event. And then on the other side, you have Hawks. This is one of only 2 schools in the program this year that has a brand new coach.
Yeah, it's
Foul is called against Hawks number 12, Jacob DeWilt. That's his second, the team's first of this quarter, and it sends to the free throw line Adam Bracey.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Mark, of course, Horizon struggling last year, only one victory. But that's also due to the fact, as I mentioned before, they're only in their third year of existence, opening in 2021.
Yeah, that is a conundrum that you and I know all too well because, of course, for those of you who don't know us, Neil and I are the house announcers at Wekiva High School, so that's a school that's been open for 17 seasons now as we get a foul called against number 24, Xavier Dalton of the Bulldogs, his first, the team's first. And so Neil and I have been announcing at Wekiva all 17 years that the school has been opened, and we know what it's like to have a program that is in its first couple of years and just trying to find its footing.
Yeah, that first year, still remember it. 2 wins by Wekiva that first year, so certainly if you want some tangible proof of what we're saying, there you go, your 2 victories. 4 minutes remaining, 20-7 lead for MDCA. It's largest of the game. And now they seem to be really on a groove, finding their footing, so to speak, in this first game of the regular season. And most of these teams playing in this event, which will last for 4 days, 26 games, this is their first regular season game. Of course, most schools play a couple of preseason games last week.
Foul is called against Hawks number 40, Roman White. That's his first, the team's second of the half. Shooting 2, Javi Roll.
And free throws and fouls have been the best friend of MDCA. They're now in double digits. 21-7 lead now, the football score. So again, 6 games today from Lake Highland Prep. This is the first. Lake Nona representing the Metro Conference taking on Vieira. All the schools representing the Metro Conference announced first. That's Jones versus Mainland, Boone versus Lake Highland Prep, Freedom versus Bishop Moore, and Lake Buena Vista versus Mount Dora. As we drop to 3:35. And the one exception to that rule, as far as the Metro versus Florida, Lake Highland Prep actually will be the home team in the 4th game. They represent the Florida contingency. So the battle rages on, and easy deuce for MDC off the turnover, and they also draw the foul on the slash and dash.
Landon Marenko gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against Hawks, number 21, Zach Hawk. His first and the team's first of this period. 4.
So I'm Neil Fisher. The other voice you're hearing is Mark Barchi, who's also doing public address announcing duties. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday for this annual event, the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. As a whistle with 3:12 remaining.
Foul is called against Hawks, number 5, Zachary DeWilt. His first, the team's third.
And if you're new to this event, it's a very simple concept based on the Atlantic Coast Conference versus Big Ten Challenge. Every public high school in Orange County is a member of the Metro. Every game pits one of those teams against a non-member, a.k.a. the Florida contingency. And at the end of the 26 games, as MDCA gets another turnover, the long pass, the outlet, and contact in the air, danger drawing that contact. At the end of the 26 events, we add up which side wins the more games. 2:51
Foul
first
is
quarter.
called against Hawks, number 4, DeShannon Williams, his first, the team's fourth. At the line, shooting 2, number 22, Luke Denninger.
And so the Metro Conference does have the lead. They've led from the very beginning, very first edition of this event 13 years ago. but the Florida contingency has cut into that lead. Now it's a 22-game deficit, 22 victory deficit, as possession will remain with Horizon.
Checking into the game for the Bulldogs, number 2, Peyton Diaz.
And of course, this was the brainchild of Scott Williams, the head basketball coach at Apopka High School. At the time, he was actually at Wekiva, as the quick stop, pop, and launch from Christo.
3 for Adonis Christo.
And that'll cut the lead down to 14.
So, yeah, I mean, the Hawks have not really knocked on the door yet, but they have at least kept the game from getting out of reach. They've avoided having the Bulldogs get more than about 3 consecutive possessions.
Yeah, and give them credit. That's certainly something they can build on. Although, again, MDCA has been in control of this game from the beginning, pretty much being able to run their offense and defense without much of a challenge consistently.
Basket scored by Bulldogs number 15, Dylan Mankauskas, and Mount Dora Christian will take their first timeout. Full timeout called by MDCA.
1:54 remaining, first quarter, 26-10 lead for MDCA.
Elevate Orlando is a civic nonprofit focused on helping students grow in strength of character and application of essential life skills. Taught in the classroom, modeled through mentoring, and incorporated into all we do so students can apply those skills to their lives. Through a partnership with OCPS, Elevate Orlando's curriculum is offered as an accredited elective course, and our private employees, teachers, mentors are able to spend over 50% of their time outside of the school mentoring students. With more than 1,500 students, 14 partner schools, and 98% graduation rate and 96% post-secondary placement, check out elevateorlando.com. Coach Low Wood offers training in all sports for speed, agility, and fitness with 2 days a week offered at 3 different sites here in Central Florida. Find a program that works for you. Visit excelspeed.com to learn more.
So a 26-10 lead for MDCA, that's Mount Dora Christian Academy. Horizon representing the Metro Conference, MDCA Florida, and that'll cut into the lead. The
Hawks layup by Adonis Christo.
26-12. And now an opportunity for Horizon to continue to cut into that lead, gain some momentum. Christo off the rim, couldn't get the drop. Back the other way, MDCA, the flash through the lane, kick it back out, and MDCA will send it back in, the spin, air ball, a second consecutive offensive rebound. And MDCA goes back to work.
Transition opportunity, but overthrown. And so one good turnover deserves another.
1:06 now in this first half.
And, of course, MDCA had a ton of turnover. More than half their roster was seniors last year. But they're riding a great wave of momentum. They went as far as the round of 16 in the playoffs, and a 22-7 record last year leaves them with pretty high expectations. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, one of our longest-tenured coaches, Stephen Hayes, if there's anything he knows how to do, it's how to keep a good thing going and work with whatever hand he's been dealt. So, despite the fact that not a lot of these players saw varsity minutes last year, at least not significant varsity minutes, they will be expected to rise to that 20-plus win season that is the standard.
23 years at the helm for Coach Hayes.
Technical foul is called against Bulldogs number 23, Adam Bracey. That's his second personal foul, first technical foul of the game. Shooting the free throws will be Adonis Christo.
And Bracey, a senior, 6'4" guard.
So that's 5 now, make it 6 points for him. Two for two at the line for Christo. Leading scorer tonight, not surprisingly, for the Hawks. He has 7 now out of the 14 points, half of their offensive production going to Christo. And, of course, in high school basketball, one of the additional penalties that comes with the technical foul, not only the 2 foul shots, but also possession at half court.
Yeah, and Mark, I really feel that that's the most important part of the technical because it gives you a chance to create some momentum scoring on successive points, but the Hawks unable to take advantage.
Zachary DeWitt is called for traveling. Bulldogs ball. 38.9 seconds to go here in the first half. We are almost 2 quarters into our first game of the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Of course, this is game 1 of 22 for this year. It is game number 247 overall for the lifetime of the event. Now the Bulldogs get an answer there to make it an even 2-1 margin for the first half. The Hawks going to see if they can get the last word. Come into the final 10 seconds. Trey launched, and it is short and right or left of center.
Back the other way. Now MDCA with the opportunity to get the last word. The scoop shot, score the deuce, +1. That was roll. And no, actually it was a charge. So both these teams with an opportunity to get the last word. Defense comes up big.
No basket. Player control foul is called against number 1, Gavi Roll.
So see if Horizon, 1.3 seconds, can get one last shot off. They do, and it's going to be short. And so that leaves the score at 28-14. A lot of action in the last 35 seconds. But when all's said and done, nobody else on the board. This is 13th annual Metro versus Florida Challenge, the first of 26 games from Lake Highland Prep.
The Winter Park Driving Academy is a proud sponsor of this year's Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, dedicated to serving the greater Orlando area and its mission to train student drivers in essential defensive driving techniques. Visit their website at wpdriving.com to schedule lessons and a road test with their experienced and professional staff today. Metro versus Florida Challenge would also like to thank Apopka Commissioner Kyle Becker, proud supporter of Blue Darter Athletics and the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Williams Construction and Development, dedicated professional superior craftsmanship and better building materials. Mo Money and Core Construction, where operational excellence is the core standard. We're going to take a break for the next few minutes here at Lake Highland Prep. We'll be back with the second half of Horizon versus Mount Dora Christian in about 6 minutes. Welcome back to Lake Highland Prep for the first game in the 2023 installment of the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. As we get a backcourt violation charged against the Hawks, it'll be Bulldogs ball. Once again, my name is Mark Bargy, the media director for the Metro versus Florida Challenge, joined by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, and we will be here with you, some combination of Neil and I, along with Ontavius McCullough, who is your camera operator for this game. He'll be switching into broadcast direction later on in today's games. And speaking of that, that also reminds me that it's a great time to let you know as we get a layup by Javi Roll to put the Bulldogs on the board for the second half. We want to extend a sincere word of appreciation to the countless staff members who come together to make the Metro versus Florida Challenge possible. When you do 26 games at 2 sites over 4 days, it is a massive manpower effort as we get a swinging layup from Bradley Webb to put the Hawks on the board for the second half. And so we are grateful not only to those who are involved in the live stream and the broadcasting that we're doing here, but all of our score table staff, our hospitality staff, and our logistics staff. Foul is called against Hawks number 21, Zach Hawk, his second personal, the team's first of this period. Zach Hawk, of course, one of the few returning players from Horizon's team last year, as well as aptly named for the Horizon Hawks.
A 30-18 lead now for MDCA. 6:53, third quarter. And pretty much the scoreboard reflects the stats of shooting. MDCA 9 of 18 from 2-point range, 7 of 10 from the free throw line. Horizon 3 of 17, 5 of 21 overall. And another big difference is MDCA has gone to the free throw line 10 times compared to just 2 for Horizon. So down underneath, you making the withdrawal.
Ethan Priest.
So Ethan Priest makes the withdrawal. Lead back up to 14 at 30-16. Of course, we are live from Lake Highland Prep. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Certainly, we love bringing this event to you. And we hope you enjoy the coverage as much as we do bringing it to you.
Layup by Bradley Webb.
32-18. 6.5, third quarter. If you're new to this event, every public school in the Orange County is a member of the Metro Conference, and in each game they take on as the turnaround and making the withdrawal is Priest.
Ethan Priest once again for the Bulldogs.
Back-to-back backs this for Priest, and so in each game, the member of the Metro Conference takes on a non-member, a.k.a. the Florida contingency, as the scoop
Basket
shot.
by Diego Rojas. Nope.
And at the end of the 26 games, we add up which side wins more, and the event is based on the Atlantic Coast Conference versus Big Ten Challenge. I guess you could say it's the equivalent at the high school level, although it is played in one central location, actually 2 central locations. So now a foul.
Dead ball foul is called against Hawks number 14, Diego Rojas.
So back to action we go underneath. Making the withdrawal. Score the deuce for Wenz.
Basket by Bishop Wenzy.
So lead now up to 16. Largest of the game for MDCA. They have led from the beginning. MDCA representing the Florida contingency. Horizon representing the Metro Conference. Our next game will pit Lake Nona representing the Metro Conference versus Vieira. That will be the second of 6 games. And again, 26 games making up this year's Metro versus Florida Challenge. The last 3 days will be played at Apopka High School as Horizon keeps control. MDCA getting a hand in, and through the middle from 4 feet, no dice. That was Rojas trying to make something happen, and a foul on the rebound. 5:07, third quarter, 16-point lead for MDCA.
Foul's called against Hawks number 2, Bradley Webb. That's a second personal foul, the team's second of the period.
And so Tom Rose will bring the ball up. That's Roll. Javi Roll, the 6 foot even senior guard, drives through the lane and makes the withdrawal.
Layup by Javi Roll.
So back the other way, Cristo bringing the ball up. He's met by his counterpart, number-wise Roll. Back to the left side, extended right. That's Rojas into the corner, the launch from Webb, no dice, high rebound, smallest guy on the court. Roll rips it down, leads the charge at the other end, and someone whacked him from behind. 4:25, third quarter. Lake Highland Prep, the site.
Fouls called against Hawks, number 5, Zachary DeWilt, his first, the team's third of the half.
So again, MDCA coming out strong from the field, 9 of 18 inside 2 points. And they also get the turnover. Somebody with the quick hand knocking that ball off of one of the Horizon players. Horizon with the turnover was off one of the MDCA players. And now MDCA going full court defense. Horizon, nice job of breaking it. The spin from Rojas, and he runs into a wall. Possession will remain with Horizon. 4:09, third quarter. About 200 fans in attendance here at Lake Highland Prep, home of the Highlanders.
Jacob DeWilt and Shannon Williams into the game for the Hawks.
Drop down low into DeWilt. 1-on-1, nowhere to go. Passes it back out as we reach 4 minutes, third quarter. Horizon smartly resets the offense. The drive, the kick out, and whacked away. And ball takes a MDCA bounce.
Checking into the game for the Bulldogs, number 4, Ethan Priest.
So Roll again will bring the ball up. 18-point lead for MDCA, their largest of the game. Launching, no dice, that's Denninger. But rebound for MDCA, give them the offensive rebound. 1-on-1 Roll, back into the corner. Drain the rain!
For for number 4, Ethan Priest.
And now MDCA continuing with that full court trap. And it pays dividends. Roll gets his hands on, back the other way. And he's hammered on the way to the basket. 3:15, third quarter, 21-point lead for MDCA. As Roll is slow to get up. Now they give him a hand up.
Fouls called against Hawks number 2, Bradley Webb, his second personal foul, the team's fourth. At the line, shooting 2, number 1, Javi Roll.
So Roll steps up to the line, 8 points for the senior. And it's actually these will be the first 2 free throws attempted by MDCA in this quarter. A bit of surprise considering they attempted 10 in the first half. So MDCA has been in control of this game since the beginning. They've not trailed. They've steadily increased that lead after scoring first.
Checking into the game for the Bulldogs, number 3, TJ McCormick.
So 21-point lead for MDCA. And it's also a 2-1 advantage. So actually, that's a 22-point lead. 23-point lead. So again, we were having some calculations done here at the scorers table. We've gotten that straight out, and it's now a 43-20 lead. With 3:08 remaining. MDCA also will be in the bonus the rest of the quarter. For now, though, Horizon forcing the turnover. Nice job on defense. Quickly moving to the right area. No dice on the tray attempt. Running that loose ball down, though, Demesia, and it pays dividends. As
three for Jacob DeWelt.
So that'll cut the lead to 20. Oh. Okay, so that was actually a 2-point score. So we drop under 2.5. And MDCA now being more deliberate in their shot selection with that 20-plus point lead. Driving through the lane, kick out to Priest, tries the other corner, and drains the rain.
For Ethan Priest. A correction, the previous shot down at the Hawks end, that was a long 2, not a 3. So that takes us to a 30-second timeout requested by Mount Dora.
(46-22) your score in the third quarter. The first of 26 games making up the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.
Advent Health reminds you that their 8 Central Florida hospitals have been named as the best in Orlando for 13 years running. At Advent Health, we care for your mind, body, and spirit while you get back to doing what you love with those you love. Visit besthospitalinorlando.com to get started on your journey to wellness.
And back to live action. MDCA, that's Mount Dora Christian Academy, in control of this game throughout. They scored first, and they've steadily increased that lead. It is now 46-22. 2:06 in the third quarter. This is the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Lake Highland Prep hosting today. The rest of the games, 3 days, will be over at Apopka's. MDCA continues to choose their spots smartly as well. With the transition, that does not go. And the answer from
Jump shot from the key by Diego Rojas. Under 2 minutes to play here in the third period now, and the Bulldogs had a good look at a potential layup there by Xavier Dalton, but couldn't get it to go. A little too much heat on the glass. And MDCA continuing to run at approximately a 2-to-1 ratio with Horizon on offensive production, and the Hawks are going to need to come up with some stops and get some consecutive baskets, or else this game is going to get out of reach for them real fast.
Down low, making the withdrawal, that's Dalton.
Xavier Dalton. And honestly there, the Hawks gave him way too much time to clean up what was otherwise a rough pass into him. He did not have any coverage there in the key. Everybody else was just standing around at the arc looking for something to do.
Minute remaining, third quarter, 48-24. The spin and contact, no, travel. That was Rojas, unable to navigate the tenacious MDCA defense.
Traveling. Bulldogs ball, checking into the game for the Hawks, for the Bulldogs, number 15, Dylan Minkauskas. Down the paint, it's Hayden Tombros.
So now a 26-point lead for MDCA in the first of 26 games we will broadcast. In the corner, that's Williams who finds the rain.
For DeShannon Williams.
20 seconds remaining, third quarter, as Tambros brings the ball up against a triple team. If MDCA so chooses, they can take the last shot. They will not, though, at least not in that round. And give credit, that was DeWalt, the 6'2" freshman, getting his hands all over the ball, but unable to come up with it. MDCA remains in possession. 9 seconds remaining. They can get that lead up to 25 at the end of 3. The spin and a whistle. That was Minkauskas. with the spin, and yes, it will be a foul on
Foul's
Horizon.
called against Hawks, number 14, Diego Rojas. That's his first. The team's fourth at the line, shooting number 15, Dylan Unkauskas.
.7 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Mount Dora Christian Academy has led throughout, scoring first. And see if Horizon can get that ball up. One last shot from half court. Off the rim.
Wow, it's pretty close.
Rojas taking it. Could have been a little bit closer if Horizon was able to get it up quicker. Wouldn't have made much difference in the lead. Still a 51-27 lead. MDCA has been in control in commanding lead as we go into the fourth quarter.
That takes us to the end of the third period. 8 minutes left in game one here at the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, live from Lake Highland Prep. We'll show you the stats and we'll be back in just a second.
And welcome back to Lake Highland Prep, home of the Highlanders. This is the 2023 Metro versus Florida Challenge, the first of 26 games over 4 days. A 51-27 lead being enjoyed by Mount Dora Christian Academy over Horizon. The give and go, and making the withdrawal is Priest.
Basket by Ethan Priest to open up fourth quarter scoring.
So a 26-point lead now for MDCA. They scored first, and they have steadily increased that lead throughout. Horizon still looking to find its footing, so to speak. One of the two youngest schools in this year's field, only 3 seasons old.
Adam, no, Bobby, he's going to this corner. He's going to the corner.
Horizon inbounds. Cristo can't get the ball to drop, but Horizon coming up with the offensive board. And they'll go back to work. So the concept of the Metro versus Florida Challenge is Crystal drives, can't get the right angle, Priest skying, ripping the rebound, back the other way, MDCA in transition, and they will not get a shot off. Good defense for Horizon. Every school, public high school in Orange County, is a member of the Metro Conference, and in each game they take on a non-conference member, aka the Florida Contingency. Long range, rims in and out, couple of hand tips by Pierre, and it pays dividends. Back out to Crystal, he'll try again, and splash!
3 for Adonis Cristo.
So 5 in a row now from Horizon, cutting the lead to 53-30. And so at the end of these 26 games, we add up which side, the Metro Conference or the Florida Contingency, has more victories. Overall, 13th year, and as MDCA roll, unable to connect on the tray. Some nasty work down low, and MDCA will go back to work. And that's a turnover. So 13 years in, or 12 years in actually, as the bank from Rojas.
Basket by Diego Rojas.
The Metro Conference with the lead, about 22 games, 22 victories. although the Florida contingency has cut quite a bit into that. They've won the last 3 challenges. 5:45 remaining, contact, whistle, and a charge, offensive charge. Rojas taking that charge.
Bulldogs charge called against Luke Denninger, taken by Diego Rojas. It's Denninger's 3rd personal foul, the team's 1st of this quarter. That turns the ball over to the Hawks.
Cristo brings the ball up. 5.5 remaining. 21-point lead. Horizon making some inroads. No dice on the tray. Rojas. And now Bulldogs with that 20-point lead in control of this game from the start. They bring the ball up much more slowly, although they have done that a number of times. They've been very smart in choosing their spots to run. The spin move and a foul. That's Dalton drawing the foul, the senior. He'll go to the free throw line.
Foul's called against Hawks. Number 14, Diego Rojas. That's his first, the team's 1st of this period. At the line shooting, number 24, Xavier Dalton.
So our next game will match Lake Nona, representing the Metro Conference, against Vieira, as there's 5:11 remaining. And one of 2 that gets the lead back up to 23. Excuse me, he made both of them, so it's a 23-point lead as we come down to the last 5 minutes. So the rest of the games today, the first team is your Metro Conference representative. That's Jones versus Mainland, Boone versus Lake Highland, Freedom versus Bishop Moore, Lake Buena Vista, the other newest school, along with Horizon taking on Mount Dora to close out the first day.
Player control foul is called against Adonis Cristo, his 2nd, the team's 2nd of the half, or the period rather.
So back to work, MDCA goes as we're under 5 minutes. No dice on that. Scramble, Cristo ripping the ball out of the air. 4.5, takes a step back, rips in and out. And MDCA pulling the rebound down. 4.5 remaining. MDCA in control of this game throughout. They've had the command. Down low. That is Bracey, who threw the elbow, and he'll get charged with a foul. 4-16.
Adam Bracey is called on the foul, taken once again by Rojas. His 3rd personal, the team's 2nd.
So turnovers playing a key role in this game, and there's another one. Something more common, we've seen Horizon losing the ball. They'll pull it out, back to Priest. Lights up from the tray.
3 for Ethan Priest. 15 points for him so far today.
So the senior continues to find the long-range shooting as we're now under 4 minutes, and the lead back up to 26 points. It has been over 20 for all of the second half.
Full timeout called by the Hawks.
This is the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. 58-32, MDCA in the lead. We'll be back from Lake Highland Prep.
I'd like to thank our partners at St. Germain Chiropractic and Burn Fat Orlando, who challenge you to step on the scale with their money back guarantee. If you don't lose weight in the first 10 days, they'll refund your money. Give them a call at 855-889-THIN. That's 855-889-THIN to get the tools and guidance you need to achieve better health and your weight loss goals. With an inviting atmosphere, friendly staff, and programs, it's your chance to take charge of your weight and your life. St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics also offers the best non-invasive healthcare services in the Central Florida area. Accepting most insurance, you can see them for all of your back and neck pain, headaches, auto accident injuries, slip and fall, and musculoskeletal conditions. When in pain, call St. Germain.
Lake Highland Prep, the host of the first of 26 games making up the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Mount Dora Christian Academy representing the Florida contingency, a 58-32 lead. They scored first and have not looked back, to use the old cliche, steadily building that lead over the third-year Horizon Hawks representing the Metro Conference. So coming up next, 3.5 minutes away,
3 for Adonis Cristo.
will be Lake Nona representing Vieira. As we drop under 3.5 minutes. Of course, stick around. At the end of this game, we will announce the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player. We do that at the end of each game.
Subbing in for the Bulldogs, number 5, Landon Marenko.
And so who was Earl Graham, since this event is now officially named after him, as the splash goes down.
For Ethan Priest.
So Earl Graham, if you follow high school basketball, and maybe to a lesser degree high school athletics, spent over 50 years working as a coach. Of course, known mainly as an assistant basketball coach, but he did have a hand in some other sports. And just in short, he was a man who influenced probably thousands of young men as a coach. Unfortunately, Earl passed away back in 2020 due to COVID during the pandemic. And he worked with Scott Williams for the last 15 years of his career.
Foul is called against Hawks, number 14, Diego Rojas. That's his second personal foul, the team's third of the fourth quarter. Checking into the game for the Hawks, number 2, Bradley Webb.
And so just also want to point out, talked about just what a great guy Coach Graham was. He was very personable and fallible, always had a good story to tell you. But he was also the kind of coach who, if you were willing to get up at 5:30 in the morning and wanted to get some extra practice in, he would meet you at the gym and open the doors before the sun came up. So, of course, at the end of this game, the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player Award will be awarded. No dice for Crystal on the tray. And presenting that award will be Earl's son, Rod.
Basket by Landon Marenko.
As we are now 2 minutes away from the end of this game in the presentation of the Most Valuable Award. Of course, have 2 or 3 candidates for MDCA. MDCA scoring first. They have not trailed. They have steadily increased the lead. But it has truly been a team effort. A couple, like I said, 2 or 3 guys taking front and center stage in periods. Roll at the beginning really got MDCA off to a strong start, not only with the scoring, but as the point guard, making some great decisions, making some great passes to get some good shots for his teammate, Ethan Priest, in the second half. He's found the range from three-point land.
Fouls called against Bulldogs number 24, Xavier Dalton, his second, the team's third. At the line shooting is number 21, Zach Hawk.
And, of course, we've also had Mankoskis, Bracy, and Dalton working inside, doing some nice physical work, getting some rebounds, grabbing the Windex and cleaning up those boards. So certainly it's been a team effort as we now have 118 remaining. And Mount Dora Christian Academy in command. And so the Florida contingency will take a 1-0 lead. Of course, we have 26 games in total making this up. Lake Highland Prep hosting 6 today. All the rest of the games will be at Apopka tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday as a charge.
Charge taken by Zach Hawk. The foul is called against Bulldogs number 4, Ethan Priest, his first, the team's fourth.
So the rest of the games today, first team represents the Metro Conference, the second team representing the Florida contingency. Lake Nona versus Vieira, Jones versus Mainland, Boone versus Lake Highland, Freedom versus Bishop Moore, and Lake Buena Vista versus Mount Dora. And the reason that the event is held at Lake Highland Prep, in addition to Apopka, something that started last year, was, of course, Coach Graham did spend part of his career coaching here at LHP.
Held ball, possession, Bulldogs.
I probably give it to Roll. Those Priest points came after they had the lead. We can't do Pro MVP. 30 seconds remaining, and Horizon trying to get a few extra points here to build some confidence. That'll certainly help. So one last time, if you're new to this event, the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Every public high school in Orange County is a member of the Metro Conference. You become a member as soon as the school opens. They take on one member of that conference, takes on a non-member, the Florida contingency. In each game, at the end of the 26 games, we add up which side wins more. There's your buzzard, and a commanding and in control performance from start to finish from Mount Dora Christian Academy.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. 63-38 is the final score here in Game 1 of the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Florida puts one tally mark on the board out of our 26-game event. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out to support your Bulldog and Hawk athletes. We also have a little business to take care of, with the second leading scorer for the team and the one who put the Bulldogs up. Okay. Your top scorer with 18 points for the Bulldogs, leading them to victory, your Earl Graham MVP, number 4, Ethan Priest. Once again, we'd like to thank everyone for coming out this morning to visit us at Lake Highland Prep, or for joining us on our YouTube channel, Metro VSFL. Don't go anywhere. We've got 5 more games coming your way. Coming up next, taking to the court, we'll have the Vieira Hawks taking on the Lake Nona Lions. And for those of you watching us on YouTube, we want to remind you that we're going to step away for about 10 minutes here. We're going to go over to the next live stream. Each game is on a separate live stream, so you can find them easier and watch them later. So you will need to exit out of this live stream and head into the next one. We will meet you there in about 10 minutes. Until then, for Neil